Hey, first long form video on the channel, and so I'm going to go on a bit of a rant for a second. There should be a timestamp on screen of when you should skip to if you just want to hear about what I'm going to be talking about this video. But otherwise than that, get ready, buckle in. So what you're going to be seeing in the background right now is me trying to make characters for this channel long form, so it's more entertaining because I don't want to use the face camera or anything. And you'll see in a few minutes that I messed up pretty bad, and some of you that use CapCut regularly know what I'm messing up with. Pretty upsetting in my opinion. Really stupid, honestly. But yeah, I do realize that I could use some background moving thing, app, website, whatever. So, but I think it's about time we get into the video, which is going to be the lore of Vivaria and the greater Vivaria. So, first off, the humans do exist in the universe, and some of their doings are known, mostly with the foggy area in the middle of Vivaria, which I'm just going to call the mainland from now on, and I'll get into that in a few minutes though. We're going to start off talking about the humans, and so, first off, when Vivaria was first discovered, you'll be able to see that they first realized the mainland. That's how it's got its name, which sounds pretty Latin, sounds pretty cool. And then you'll notice that the Volca's land doesn't really sound a whole lot like it, and that is because it is named by the creatures on Vivaria, which was in this case named by the Jacobi. And so, besides that, you'll also notice that Mrazia is Czech, which is because the Czech actually beat all the other humans on Earth, and so the Czech ruled that area, the solar system, and the greater galaxy. So yeah, that's where some of the Czech names came from, and where some of the other stuff. If it looks like it's random name, then it's probably from the Jacobi. If it's from just Latin or something that was first discovered by humans while they were still on Earth. Other than that, I think that's all the lore you'll need. But let's get into the fog. So if you look at the Vivaria map, you'll notice that there's a big black spot in the middle, which is, in case you haven't heard me talking about it, fog. And creatures that try to go into it are going to very likely get injured, die, stuff along that lines. Very sad stuff. No one wants to go in there. And you might be wondering why. Well, that is because of the Darwin 5. And in this universe, the Darwin 5 is actually something that terraforms planets. And they do a little bit different on each planet, but in this case it made Vivaria very, very green. Has beaches, has forests, has deep forests right next to the Darwin 5. And some other things. That it's part of the side effect of what it does is it made Volca so volcano-y, because before that it was just attached to Vivaria, or it's attached to Vivaria. And that's just something that it does, because what the Darwin 5 actually does is every 10 years on the planet, there will be a massive earthquake that kills everything that's living. That's why the lifespan of so many things are short. That's why it's called the Darwin 5, because it speedruns evolution, basically, by making the life cycle of each animal, plant, everything so short, so that each thing can adapt quicker and everything. And it's, as a side effect, it makes magma come out. It's very, very not good for the planet. And we're actually going to get into some other things, because right now we only know the early history of Vivaria, and this is as I compared the Jacobi to the caveman, that's because they're the very early human species of Vivaria. And as such, they aren't very smart, of course. They're very tribal, and they won't be living much longer. Because when we get into the Middle Ages, we're going to start to we're going to basically have a whole rebrand. Like, for example, the Yellen, which is Czech, is going to be completely gone. There's going to be some things like it, but nothing quite that evolved to be the Yellen. The Squirk's going to be gone. There's, again, going to be some small predators, but of course not the Squirk. The Jigbee, that's an interesting one. The Darwin 5 helps to make sure that there are going to be smart species and that something rises above the rest, but it doesn't necessarily say that it has to be exactly like the Jigbee. So you might see something completely different come out of nowhere. And so you'll just have to wait and see. Something that I didn't say good about the Squirk is that they mainly hunt the Yellen, although they do have to go after some smaller species because it's tough to go after something as big as the Yellen when they're like extremely small. Then something about the Jigbee, they're like 2-3 foot tall, very small. They usually live in small areas, but they do occasionally branch out to be bigger. And if you look at the main map of the mainland, then you'll see 2 big green spots, and those green spots are going to be where the Jigbee's main bases, capitals are. There are two tribes kind of at war, but again, this is the late of the first area, so not going to be going much anymore. And I'm talking about the Jigbee a lot for the lore video. Holy. Something else about the mainland map is that the rivers that you see on the beaches do go out through the forest. It's just the trees go over them, so you can't see it very well. Mrazia, it wasn't discovered originally when they first saw Vivaria. They only saw Mrazia towards the end, and by then the Czech were already there. That's why it has a Czech name. The Yellen, as I said, was Czech, which it translates about to deer, and it functions mostly like a deer, but kind of has giraffe parts. That's about it. I think that's it for the lore. If there's anything else you want to know, tell me and I'll be glad to fill you in. Adios.